In this video I want to show you where to write a LINQ query in UiPath. There are two activities which we can use to write a LINQ query. These are assign activity and invoke code activity. For sure you can also write a query inside other activities, for example write line activity, or log message activity, or many other activities. But I mean here, where you can write a query and store the data in a variable, so that you can use this data later in your project. In this course I will show you how to write the queries inside both activities, assign and invoke code. There is no difference between both activities, how to write the query or how it will be executed. During the course you will find out what is better or easier to use depending on the query you want to write. But the result is always the same if you write the query in any activity of both. Let's talk a little about both activities. I will start with the first one, assign activity. Assign allocates any value to a variable or argument. For example, it can be used to increment the value of a variable in a loop, or to assign values to an array, or also to write a LINQ query, or to perform many different expressions. In the programming languages it's like equal operator, for example this one here. Here I want to assign the number 3 to the variable x. It means, after executing this line, the variable x will have the value 3. The same can be done in UiPath inside assign activity in this way. The same also for LINQ queries. I will set the variable on the left side, in which I want to store the result of the query. On the right side I will write the LINQ query. For example the following query. On the right side I have the query to filter an array. On the left side I have a variable of type array to store the result of the query. Once this activity will be executed, the result of the LINQ query will be stored in this variable. Here you have to make sure that you have to write the expression on the right side in VB.NET, if your project is also in VB.NET. But if your project in C#, you must also write the expressions in C#. In this course I will only use VB.NET projects. That's all about this activity. Let's check the second activity, invoke code. It's to invoke a code in both languages, VB.NET and C#. So, you have to define, which language do you want to use? In this course I will only use VB.NET language. There is no relation between the language of the code and the language of the project. It means, you could have a C# project, but you can use VB.NET language to write the code. The language is one of 3 properties of this activity. The second one is arguments. Here you can enter the arguments you need to use in your code. For example, if we want to loop an array, which we should get from other activities, we have to set it as input argument for this activity, so that we can use it inside the activity. We can also define output arguments, which are the output from the code, for example the result of the LINQ query. And the last property is the code. Here you can write your code in the selected language, for example in VB.NET. This is also the place where we can write the LINQ query. That's also all about this activity. One last thing you have to remember is to use the namespaces in your workflow, what I mentioned in the previous videos. It's always better to have all these namespaces in your project if you want to write a LINQ query. These are the following: system.link, system.collections, system.collections.generic. If you also want to write a query for XML, you should have these namespaces in your workflow: system.xml, system.xml.link, system.xml.serialization. You can add the namespaces under tab imports inside the workflow. These are the most needed namespaces you need if you want to write a LINQ query. I will let you know later in the videos if we need other namespaces, depending on the query we want to write. That's everything I wanted to show you about this topic.